When did sharing cute, fun family content and the reality of everyday life with our children become a problematic genre known for child exploitation? Well, I'll tell you. The genre of family vlogging became an issue for two reasons. One, when parents started using their children as content to garner a paycheck. And two, when PDF files started taking that content and getting off to it. I'm the mom behind the mask. If you're worried about the world we're leaving to our children, well then it looks like your algorithm brought you to the right place. Welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you just how to recognize that type of content. Because creators are producing it right under our very noses, under the guise of cute, fun family content. And PDF files are using it for their own sinister desires. Now imagine you come across an adorable video like this, a toddler baking. It's fun to watch. It's hilarious because you know that toddler couldn't have done all these measurements, and how is she not making a mess? And you think, my toddler could never. You're invested. Millions of views later, and her mother has realized this is it. This is the content that gets views. So she says, I need to keep this going. And every few days, she drops another video of her baby baking. Her baby is now the content. But at this point, it's still innocent enough, right? It's just a cute video of a baby baking. And to any normal person, yes, it is just a really cute video. But forewarning, we're about to get a little dark here. To people who are attracted to children, this is not just a cute video. They enjoy videos like this for a much different reason. But let me not get ahead of myself. Let me introduce this content creator for you. Her name is Emily Fauver. She originally got her following by posting Beachbody content and her struggles with infertility. However, over the years, her content has increasingly become more about her children than herself. You can see here pretty much every thumbnail has her children in it. And while I am calling out the content creators that we're going to talk about today, this video is less about bashing them and more about training our minds to recognize this type of problematic content and understanding why it's an issue. Because even though we're talking about 3 creators today, I could cover creators every single day for probably the next year who are using their kids for content and who are exploiting their children for content. It's less about them and more so about recognizing that this cute, fun family content that we see is actually more problematic than we may realize. It's common to see influencers who become moms or even mommy influencers realize that their kids garner more views than they usually do. And their kids become the forefront of the content. And this is problematic for a few reasons. First of all, showing our kids online used to be okay. I would say until around 2022, I give parents a pass. But after that, it becomes increasingly more evident that there are predators on these apps who love the fact that parents show their kids online. And it's not just that predators are watching these videos of people's kids. It's that they're now running them through AI generators to overlay inappropriate items onto the videos, if you know what I mean. They have deep fakes. They run these videos and pictures through Nudify apps to make the child look nude. And then they share them with other predators online. And I can promise you that parents like this that are chronically online and most definitely go through the comments are very aware that these things are happening. Like I said, before 2022, I would say this was not such a prominent issue, and parents weren't really as aware that any of this was going on. But it's 2025, and I can guarantee you, they do know. But by this point, for someone like Emily, who's been making content for nearly half a decade, the money's just too good. This kid has grown up in front of a screen, and now she's a performer. Which brings me to my next issue, paid promotions. Yeah, you can say, well, this is her page and her kids and her content, and she gets a lot of views, and so she gets paid from TikTok for those views. So that's not necessarily exploitation, except when your kids are the face of your content and they become your content, when brands reach out to you, that's who they want to see. They don't want to see you. They could care less about you, the parent. They want to see the kids. And then you get ads like this.
Your ride is here.
Sorry, we're having a very important meeting. Let's go check out my Kinder pets. My cousin would love this one.
And who's that?
Me, it's on my list.
Why'd you choose this toy?
She's my little brother's favorite. There's something for everybody in the Target toy catalog.
And it wasn't just 1 or 2, but 3 paid promotions for the same store. And you could say, well, that's no different than child acting. At least that's how I used to feel about it too, except for the fact that child actors at least have laws and protections to make sure, 1, that they're not overworked, and 2, that they're getting paid. Child influencers don't have those same protections. There are only a handful of states that even require parents to put money aside for their children if they're in a certain percentage of their videos. And Emily here does not live in one of those states. And look, I'm not saying she doesn't take care of her kids. I'm not saying she doesn't put money aside for them. She very well may be doing that. But there's no way to know. There's no way to know that any of these people who are using their kids as the face of their content are giving them any type of compensation. And if they even want to be doing those videos. The thing is, I know these kids look so happy doing all these videos, but putting their lives online not only warps their sense of reality, but it also opens up viewers to have these parasocial relationships with them where they feel like they know these kids. And in reality, we don't. We don't know these kids. But their parents are putting them online every day for the world to see. And it's giving people this sense of feeling like they deserve to know what's going on with their kids. And we've seen how, situations like Emily Kaiser, how badly that went when her son passed away. The next creator I want to talk about is Sammie Head, who gained her following by posting rage bait content about her husband. She would make videos about how terrible her husband was and eventually how annoying her kids were. Well, it became increasingly obvious that this was satire, and her page grew initially because of all the husband-bashing comments she would get. But eventually, she grew a loyal following of people who came to love her dry humor. And I actually don't have an issue with this type of content. For the most part, it's pretty funny. Except sometimes when you post rage bait content that involves your kids, it does come at the expense of the kids.
Can you skip this
The couple got a lot of backlash for that video specifically, and a few others like it, because the video was funny in the way of like, okay, my husband walked away from our crying baby. But at the same time, her husband really did walk away from the crying baby. And a baby that age doesn't really understand what's satire or what's being posted as rage bait. All they know is, my daddy walked away from me while I'm crying. And while that did raise some red flags for me, I can play devil's advocate to say, I'm sure as soon as the camera stopped rolling, he walked right back to his kid, picked her up, and comforted her. But just like every other mommy influencer known to man, they fall into the trap of needing to give their audience more, and their kids become their content. It's one thing when your kids are just in the background of your content, or your kids are kind of just side characters, I guess, of your content, and you're not really having them do anything or showing too much of them. They're just there. But it's different when you start having them perform so that you can make money off of products.
Alexa, play dancing music. What in the
I told you guys I could fix it.
Yeah, Mommy!
And like I said earlier, I think using your kids for promotional content to garner a paycheck is problematic. But what really bothered me the most about this family's content was when the parents started sharing the kids' personal information in exchange for views. You see, the couple has 5 daughters and a son, and for a long time they said the girls' names were High Five, Incisor, Pampas, Portabella, and Harold, and that the son's name was Six Pack. And I actually really respected the fact that they were keeping their kids' identities a secret. But within the last year, they have slowly released the names of each of their children in exchange for views. Take a look.
To all those annoying people who keep bugging me about my kids' real names. We now have 2 vlogs on our YouTube that reveals High Five's real name and Incissor's real name. I hope this makes you happy. I know I am ecstatic about it. Go to our YouTube and check out our 2 latest vlogs to learn their real names so you can stop bugging me.
They started promoting their YouTube channel on their social media by teasing these real name reveals, and they actually did reveal the kids' names, which may not seem like a big deal, except for the fact that they kept this information private for years, and just now they decided to reveal it. It's the fact that I know that this had to have been a conversation, and I just imagine them laying in bed at night talking about how they're going to get the views up and what their viewers want to see, and that this was the conclusion they came to. Ultimately, this was a decision, it was a discussion, and it was a choice. And when it comes down to it, they traded their kids' identities for views, for YouTube views. And I'm going to note one other issue here before we move on to the next creator, and that is that it seems Sammie is falling victim to the same thing most family vloggers do, and it's that people want to see more personal moments. What started out as satire skits that barely even involved the children have now, as the children are getting older, escalated into revealing more of the kids' personal lives, including discussions about their bad behavior. And I don't think showing kids bad behavior will ever age well when they become teens and adults. And this is something that we are just now seeing reveal itself with older content creators like the kids of Ruby Frankie.
Let's talk about your behavior this morning. It's not funny. I'm not laughing. Do you think it was good or bad choices?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Your behavior this morning, fighting and screaming. Do you think that is a good or bad choice?
Bad.
Why?
I don't even remember.
You don't remember. I want to know why you made those choices. Why were you fighting with?
Because she was being
No. If you know it's a bad choice, why do it? I don't want to hear about what other people were doing. I want to know why you did it. But why did you not just get up and walk away and come tell me and Daddy? Huh? Why are you crying right now?
This goes on, but I'm not going to show the whole thing. I just want to make the point that I think that showing this kind of personal moment where you're parenting and you're disciplining your child's bad behavior, a discussion which leads to tears, doesn't really need to be recorded and posted online. Side note, but when I was going through content to look up for this video, this is another creator, Kelly Ingram, who I definitely could cover as well, but her oldest daughter was holding her baby and the baby threw up in her mouth, and I've blurred it, but as you could see, there was white stuff dripping all down her face and her shirt, and a normal person might think that's really relatable or funny or whatever, but like we said before, there are predators on this app who live for content like this, who like a suggestive looking video that they can take and manipulate for something else. And the main reason I included it is because Luke Who commented on it. And you know, people will say that people like me and other creators like the Dad Challenge podcast or Hi for Tessa or a lot of other, way bigger creators than me who are calling out families who are posting videos like this, and they'll say, well, you're the one being weird about it. Well, you almost have to be weird about it because there are predators online who are being weird about it. And As parents, if we're posting pictures and videos of our kids online, we almost need to view it with the lens of, okay, if this is public, a predator is going to see this. So is this something that a predator could run through an AI software and turn it into something weird and share it with other people online? That's what they're doing. The majority of CSAM right now comes from family content. The last creator we're going to talk about today is What About Aubrey Jones from Utah, nonetheless. Listen, the Utah Mormon wives and families are on a whole nother level of content creation because they have a crap ton of kids. They usually have a lot of money, and from what I've heard, the Mormon church really just promotes making content to kind of try and glamorize the Mormon lifestyle. But I have to say, this one really probably gets under my skin the most. At face value, this type of content doesn't seem very problematic until you peel back a few layers and you think about the fact that every bit of this family's content relies on the kids getting dressed up in cute matching clothes and performing a little skit. And these videos are posted every single day, if not multiple times a day. And if you've ever had small children, then you know that getting them to cooperate, to dress up in an itchy outfit, and to perform in front of a camera isn't always as seamless as they make it seem. There's a lot of, I guarantee, yelling. I guarantee they are yelling at these kids to stand in place, to do the perfect pose, to do the perfect face. And when they don't get it right, they have to do it over and over and over. That is the reality of making content with small children.
With me while I tell you 3 reasons why we homeschool our kids. Number 1 is efficiency.
Again, here's another video of kids performing for a promotional ad. But yes, the majority of the time with families like this, the kids are homeschooled. And they'll tell you it's for an array of reasons. Like she said, efficiency, religion, time to do other activities. But what they're not going to tell you is that one big benefit of it is that their kids can make content all day long. It is not uncommon to see family vloggers gain a bit of traction. Their kids become the center of the content, and before you know it, they're homeschooling. And they'll tell you it's for an array of reasons, but the reality is their kids are at home and they can make as much content as they want. And they'll just pump it out. But I'll tell you the real issue that I had with this family, besides the cringy content, I can almost get past it. I really can. But a while ago, I covered this family in a promotional ad that they did that I thought was very problematic. So take a look. I posted this on my TikTok a long time ago, and tell me what you think. Nothing gets under my skin quite like the momfluencers who keep pumping out kids for content. But today we're talking about Aubrey Jones. Now, content like this is enough to annoy me, but you really get on my list when you post something like this.
Let's make a period kit for my daughter. My oldest just turned 12, which means the big moment is just around the corner. Her first period.
Now, Aubrey, I'm not sure what made you think that telling the world your daughter's about to start her monthly cycle was okay, but it's not.
We are handling this way differently than when I was 12. Back then it was all hush-hush and awkward. Not anymore.
No, I think you felt the need to say that because it is still an awkward topic.
Ultra thin, shorter and narrower than their balanced core line version. How great is it that we get to do this differently? We can talk openly with our daughters and make sure they feel confident and prepared. Periods aren't awkward. They're empowering.
Are you making a period kit? Don't forget the snacks.
This would have been the perfect ad for you to do for yourself as someone who's having children back to back. That would have been perfect for you to do. But of course we had to bring our children into it because that's what makes money, right? And nothing says welcome to womanhood quite like your dad being involved. You see, these influencers have gotten so comfortable with sharing vulnerable moments with millions of people about their children. But one day, it's going to come back to bite them. Oh my gosh, why did I sound like that? You can definitely tell that's towards the beginning of my channel. I guess I was not as comfortable talking, but I'd like to know what you think down below. Let me hear your thoughts. I just think that family vloggers in general, they are problematic. I think it can be done the right way, and I can actually cover some, family vloggers and influencers who I think do it the right way. They're very few and far in between. But let me know what you think about this video. If you would like for me to do more, maybe you have some suggestions on some creators you'd like for me to cover. If you care about keeping kids safe online and in real life, then I welcome you to subscribe and hit that notification bell to support me in that mission. I thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.